We welcome you to the River City tonight, where the Richmond Kickers open their home USL League One slate on a perfect day for football. It's Richmond hosting last season's expansion darlings in FC Naples, and tonight's match is presented by U-Crops. We say hello and welcome from City Stadium. Sam Goldfarb, thrilled to bring you all of the action tonight. A Richmond squad that has opened the year in strong fashion, a pair of results, and in their opening league match, got off to a flying start, parking the bus early on, but Josh Kirkland capitalizing on the miscue and opening the scoring at AB Alta after just 9 minutes. And it looked like maybe Richmond would be in to pull off the shocker, but committing a penalty offense in the midway point of the first half. Jerry Desdoon brought down in the area, and then he converts from 12 yards to level the scoreline. Ultimately, Richmond able to see out a draw in a hard-fought affair in California. Tonight's player to watch for Richmond, presented by Pollo Campero, none other than the goal scorer, Joshua Kirkland, known for his industry, last season's top league goal scorer outside of Darwin Espinal, leading the line once again tonight, has already scored 2 in as many matches to open this year's campaign. On the opposite end of things for FC Naples, 3 matches in the bank and 3 results in the bank, but some disappointment last Saturday against Corpus Christi. They open up on a flying start. Mark Torres, after just 2 minutes here, pounces on the loose change and bashes it into the back of the net. No chance there for Corpus Christi, but they would fire back just before halftime. Tomas Pandeka rolling it into the bottom left corner, but then in the dying embers, it looked like Dominic Bachstein had won it. He just taps this in on a lovely work move for Naples to put them in front just shy of full time, but in stoppage time, late lapse costed Naples 3 points. They had to settle for a point their last time out against Corpus Christi. The player to watch for FC Naples, Dominic Bachstein. He leads the line once again, has already scored twice in as many league matches. Someone who's enjoying a massive second-year resurgence in his first full season with a proper preseason. Matt Pullen mentioning that he's just a handful to deal with for opposing defenders up front. We are just about set to get everything underway for another season of USL League One football at City Stadium. Richmond Kickers looking to pull off their first ever victory against FC Naples. We'll find out if they can do just that. Lineups and kickoff next on ESPN+.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the U-Crops brand stands for.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
Sink your toes into soft, white sand, splash in the sparkling waters of the Gulf, and revel in the warmth of sunny, blue skies. Take a moment to breathe in the salt-touched air and listen to the tide as it rises and falls along the shoreline. This is paradise in every sense, and winter here simply feels wonderful. Experience it yourself in Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades, Florida's Paradise Coast.
We welcome you back to City Stadium, where we are just about set for kickoff in this home opener in USL League One play for Richmond Kickers. They host FC Naples, and tonight's match is presented by U-Crops. It's time to get a look at our starting 11s presented by Ortho Virginia, starting with the Richmond Kickers, and no changes from their 2-0 victory over Northern Virginia FC in the U.S. Open Cup on Tuesday. Of course, keep your eye on Josh Kirkland, not to mention Tarek Panholzer. He is dangerous on the right flank, the former Marshall standout, and then Jan Filion once again between the sticks for the Roos. On the opposite end of things for Matt Pullen's men, 4 changes from their 3-0 U.S. Open Cup opening victory on Wednesday. Dominic Bockstein leading the line yet again. He's partnered by Chris Garcia and Taylor Gray on the flanks. And then as you move in behind, it is still the same center back partnership of Joshua Yoder and Luca Mastrantonio. Just about ready to get everything underway here in City Stadium. A Richmond side hunting its first League One victory of the year against a Naples squad looking to return atop the table. And we are underway here from the River City, Richmond and Naples for the 3rd time in history. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. We thank you for joining us. A beautiful day for football. 74 degrees, sunny. It is perfect weather here in March in Virginia, and that is anything but a perfect shot from Julian Cisneros. Sails well over the bar. This is one of the best atmospheres in the league. You see the River City Red Army in full force. This is one of the best supporters groups in USL League One, and they have not disappointed for their home league opener here. There'll be a rowdy crowd. Naples will have to weather that if they hope to notch a second win in 3 league matches to begin the year. Here's Murana, one of the many new additions for an overhauled Kickers back line. It is a Richmond side that a season ago struggled, finished second from bottom of the table, 29 points. Disappointing campaign all in all after a really fast start, which saw them sit second ahead of their first meeting with Naples in mid-April. But then the defense gave out, a team that really struggled at the back with the 3rd most goals allowed in the league. Unsurprisingly, Darren Sawatsky has retooled the entire back line, and so far, not a shabby display, just 1 goal allowed through their opening 2 fixtures, despite playing large spells of both without possession. Macias, former forward Madison man, who's in a more advanced role under Matt Pullen here on the young campaign. Cisneros. He's not shy about bombing forward. This is Taylor Gray, a new addition this offseason. Rana tracks him step for step. Strong defending early on from the Kickers. Well, fans, it's time for Keys to the Game, presented by Haley. And here's what it is for Richmond. Being clinical in the decisive moments is key. Not a side known for its ability to dominate possession through the opening 2 matches. So when they get their opportunities, they must take them. For Naples, it's about precision and build-up. This Richmond side on the young campaign, very organized out of possession. It will take discipline and patience to break them down, as well as precise passing. Cisneros is immediately shrugged off it by Leighton. Run down by Josh Yoder, the new addition out of the college ranks. There is Darren Sawatsky, year 7 at the helm of Richmond Kickers. Best known, of course, for the Players' Shield winning campaign in 2022. Since then, only 1 playoff berth, though, and this season, hoping that pragmatism will get more results. That's been on full display through their opening few fixtures. He is the only member coaching that is still in the league from the inaugural campaign. So here's a quick foray forward for Owen O'Malley and Freeman. For just a Richmond throw. We're talking to Darren Sawatsky last season. Whenever you speak to him, he mentions some of the structural disadvantages Richmond deals with. This is a side that doesn't necessarily have the purchasing power of many other teams in the league, but it is one that fancies themselves an outfit that can punch above its weight. And they have done that for large spells over the course of his tenure. As this long throw comes in, ricochets out of play for the first corner of the match. will be Tyler Freeman's chance to swing this in, the former SKC homegrown talent who has impressed early on in this season. Was especially impactful during the win over Northern Virginia on Tuesday. His first opportunity to whip in a corner. Within swing. Toward the back post, headed on by Barnathan, but knocked away. Now Gray looking to break. Plays this forward. Plenty of space the other direction for Max Glasser. An early ball towards Garcia, and one that is comfortably claimed by Jan Filion. Eyebrow raiser from Darren Sawatsky to put him between the sticks for the opening 2 matches, but the 30-year-old remains there. Someone with years of professional experience in the Canadian Premier League. Has also bounced around Europe in the past as well. He's gotten the starts over last season's go-to option in James Sneddon, but 10 years his senior, and again, plenty of experience across the board. It's now time for our injury report presented by Bon Secours. Nothing officially reported for Richmond kickers, but no Darwin Espinal or Neil Seufert in the squad today. On the opposite end of things, Gio Miglietti and Rose are out for FC Naples. They're hoping Miglietti will be back in the coming weeks. Here's Leighton. It's kept in play well by Garcia, and now Bockstein chasing after it. His first touch of the night. Dispossessed authoritatively. O'Malley. Freeman. O'Malley can't keep it in play. Year 2 for Matt Poland at the helm of FC Naples, someone who guided Naples to a phenomenal inaugural season a year ago. Set the USL League One record for most matches unbeaten in all competitions to begin an inaugural season. While there was a summer lull, he got them back on the right foot before the playoffs, finished in the top 4, and did defeat the defending champions on penalties before ultimately falling to the eventual champions in 1 knocks away from home. But it was an inaugural season to be quite proud of. The issue has been many of his players have moved on to different ventures. Carson Henderlong, the headliner up top, moving up to the championship ranks, so forced to replace, on aggregate, about 50% of their scoring between Henderlong and Jayden Onen, who departed this offseason. He's mentioned that it's not going to come from just 2 guys. They're going to have to disperse it and become more dynamic in the wide areas to spread the wealth. So far, though, decent showing through their opening 3 matches. They're outscoring opponents by a 7-2 aggregate scoreline. Glasser. Garcia. Working on Hayden Anderson and bypassing him with ease. Plays it to the edge of the area, and that was always rising. Well, fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. For those just joining us, we welcome you to City Stadium, one of the best environments in USL League One. Sam Goldfarb on hand in front of a packed River City Red Army as the Richmond Kickers open up their USL League One campaign in the cozy confines of their home patch. Taking on FC Naples, a squad they've never beaten before, defeated by a 2-1 scoreline in both contests last year, but of course, both squads very new look from a season ago. As Delgado slips trying to clear that. And ushered back to Jan Filion. Garcia. Only dispossessed by Anderson, and now he is. Hoofed forward towards Kirkland, who will win a corner. That's quick to look at a striker score line or score sheet and say, okay, how many goals do you have? How valuable you are? Josh Kirkland had 8 of those a season ago. Nothing to scoff at, but the value he brings with his industry up top, his ability to grapple for 50-50s and just constantly press is something that can't be understated. 25-year-old brings a little bit of everything to this Richmond side up front as Freeman readies to take another corner. Another in-swinger. This headed along. Can't be steered on target by Vinberg, who was there first. Well, if the AV Alta match was one extreme, this seems to be the other. Richmond is quite progressive going forward. This is how they opened up their match against Northern Virginia, but that, of course, a lower division side that's perhaps a little easier to dominate in possession. And even in that game, left a lot to be desired as Garcia slips in behind for Naples and Vinberg recovers. It's a corner, though, for the visitors. There was some discontent in the Richmond fan base surrounding the performance in their opening match just because they spent so much time without the ball. But also important to note, that's against AV Alta in terms of league play. That's a team that dominates about 66% of the ball on average if you take the last season's stats. So it is a number you have to take with a grain of salt. I think all in all, the fans will be happier with the initiative they've shown to open up this one so far. They've conceded a corner to Kevin O'Connor and FC Naples, though. Right in front of the River City Red Army. In-swinger. Punched away by Filione. Back to the corner taker. Second pop. Punched away again. Perhaps a chance to break. Aiden Macias ensuring that is not the case. Boxstein. O'Connor clipping it over the top. Headed away by Leighton. Only as far as the Irishman O'Connor. Now Garcia is off to a blazing start to the season. Pulls for handball waved away. A chance for Richmond to navigate through traffic. Macias. Lofting it towards Boxstein again. Route 1 thus far for FC Naples, and it was the MO a season ago, one of the best counter-attacking sides the league has seen in recent memory. Starting to pounce on things with their press. Glasser, Taylor Gray, teeing one up, and it was never coming back down. He's dangerous. Someone who spent last season in USL League One and was a major impact, and then, of course, prior to that, 3 seasons at Chattanooga FC, where he was incredibly dangerous on the flanks. Still awaiting the opportunity to translate some of that goal output to USL League One, but has been eye-catching when he's featured. Freeman. O'Malley looking forward, and Kirkland on the end of it. It's a quality stop there from Delgado. Follow-up, not dealt with just yet. Murana, from a long-time championship presence. Austin Amer. Leighton. The best of forward passes. This is Taylor Gray the other direction. Doesn't keep it in play. First major chance of the match, and it breaks the way of Josh Kirkland and Richmond kickers. And he has a knack for getting himself in dangerous positions early. You see him split the channel between Yoder and the fullback in Glasser, and it's a save that Delgado should make, but it's one he deals with admirably. That is the type of havoc, though, Josh Kirkland can bring. Someone who's gone all the way from the D3 college ranks to Richmond kickers' top striker in the span of about 2 years. Someone who, less than 2 years ago, didn't even have a professional contract. It just speaks to the rapid rise he's enjoyed. Murana. Freeman. Barnathan. Walking it forward towards O'Malley. There's Garcia. He's been tremendous thus far. 2 assists, taking him on a Week 2's Team of the Week a week ago. Supplying both goals in that Corpus Christi draw. That's a match in which Matt Pullen said his side left a little disappointed. He feels they learned a lesson about how valuable it is to see matches out, but he actually felt like last week was a stronger and more comprehensive performance than their opener against Fort Wayne, a game in which they conceded far more XGA. Obviously, that's a number you take with a grain of salt, but he feels that the performance are improving, and sometimes things like that happen in football, and results that maybe shouldn't break your way do, and those that should sometimes don't. Last week, the case of the latter. Sprayed wide. O'Connor. Heavy touch takes it out of play. Well, fans, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Just over a quarter of an hour gone here from City Stadium in a packed environment in the River City. No score between Richmond kickers and FC Naples, although some quality half chances both ways. Josh Kirkland, the best of the lot moments ago, denied from close range by Lalo Delgado. It's made for an enthralling end-to-end opening 20 minutes or so. Penholzer. Boxstein the opposite direction. Has numbers in support and picks out Taylor Gray. Murana tracking him step for step. Cisneros. One of the many breakout stars for FC Naples a year ago, established himself on the left flank at left back just a year after finishing his college career with Loyola Chicago. It's a player that Matt Pullen is quite familiar with. Of course, Matt Pullen, more ties to Marco Island, Florida, but did coach Chicago House in Niça for multiple seasons prior to taking the Naples job. So very familiar with the talent that has played throughout the Chicago area, and many of those players actually trained with him during his time at Chicago House. He's known about Julian Cisneros for a fair bit of time at this stage. Macias. Torres. Gray. Mastrantonio clipping it long. Garcia. Glasser, Torres. Can't get it back through to Garcia, but that's a positive idea. O'Malley. At the moment, Richmond just losing out on every 50-50. Murana is fouled by Boxstein. But for Richmond, it's been a quality start to the season. Of course, the performance at AV Alta maybe left a touch to be desired, but it was a hard-fought point away from home in which they flashed their defensive organization. And then Tuesday night, 2-0 victors over Northern Virginia. That a match in which they struck just beyond the 30-minute mark through Josh Kirkland and looked like they would have to see things out in nervy fashion before Luca Torrado finished things off. But for a team that lacks Darwin Espinal and Neil Seufert on the young campaign, it is something to be proud of this early on. Here's a long-range hit from Amer, and he didn't miss by much. That is something he's known for, Austin Amer, a propensity to uncork from afar. And this nearly rolled into the bottom right. Just puts his laces through it, it's awkwardly dipping. He would have had Delgado beaten had it been on frame. That is one of the many new signings for Richmond kickers. Native of Tampa, who played most recently in the lower leagues of German football with Eintracht Nordhorn. Well, 20 minutes gone here from Richmond. Both sides have had enjoyment on the ball. Richmond probably the better of the chances thus far, but FC Naples has shown an ability to dominate possession for prolonged spells as well. It's a fascinating type of fixture, this, when you don't really know, as we tick on into the dying embers of it later on, who will actually have the upper hand. Richmond showing a touch more fight in the battle for possession in their home opener in league play, trying to be a bit more progressive than they were a few weeks back. Yoder. Torres. Garcia, former Ford Madison man, who has impressed early on. It's a menacing cross that's headed away by Vinberg. As far as Mastrantonio, though. Torres. Midfield metronome thus far in the young season. Himself and Aiden Macias not shy about ranging forward. Macias in particular, someone who played as more of a deep-lying six under Matt Glazer at Ford Madison. Matt Pullen mentioning that he's given him a little more creative license to roam forward. He may start in the build-up as a six, but he can roam into an 8 position rather seamlessly and influence from a box-to-box perspective. Someone who's top quality with plenty of experience in top-tier English academies back in the day. Most recently with QPR. That's where he spent the bulk of his youth career. Torres. Gets his pass Panholzer. Macias. Knocking it wide. Glasser ranging forward. Cross deflected out of play and just a throw for Naples. We'll see if anyone has a long throw in their locker on this FC Naples squad. It appears Julian Cisneros is most keen on attempting it. Right in front of the River City Red Army. Cisneros arcing it in, flicked along and knocked home. Bockstein right in the vicinity, and FC Naples grabs the lead away from home. A ball that drew Filione into action, and it was Bockstein's presence that ushered it over the line. It'll be a question of whether or not he got the final touch, but one way or another, it is 1-0 to FC Naples. Brilliant cross from Cisneros. The flick on from O'Connor, and it's just a question of whether O'Connor or Bockstein gets this last touch. The flick on, Bockstein is right there, and it looks like he may have just redirected it. Either way, FC Naples 1, Richmond Kickers 0, and the hosts trail in their league home opener. Still waiting on official word as to who the actual goal scorer is. O'Connor had the flick on, Bockstein was right there in the vicinity. Either way, both of them have been highly impactful early on this season in creating goals. A pair of assists on Wednesday in their Open Cup victory over Red Force FC for O'Connor, and then Bockstein 2 goals in as many league matches to begin his campaign. It's a question of whether or not he just made it 3-3. Felt like it was coming for Naples. They had been on the front foot, and that was just such a well-executed throw-in routine. Cisneros' ball, the flick on from O'Connor, and then Filione caught in no man's land as he tried to claim the ball before it reached Bockstein. Free kicks given for Richmond as they look to respond. Free kick coming. And it is Tyler Freeman who stands over it. Well, Richmond must dig into the reserves now. Their first time facing a deficit all season. A side known for its defensive organization picked apart by a well-crafted routine from FC Naples. Freeman arcs it in. It's flicked on and just saved by Delgado. Looked like it may have been an instant retort. Murana was on the doorstep. But just a set piece in return for Richmond. Well, this is a terrific delivery as well. It looks like Kirkland and Leighton in the vicinity, and maybe Murana also gets a touch to it. All in all, Delgado gets rattled against his far post, and that is the primary point of concern now for FC Naples. Their borderline all-league goalkeeper from a season ago. Trying to walk off the early bruises of this one. Someone who kept 9 clean sheets in league play, added another in the postseason. He is exceptional between the sticks for Naples. Freeman now without swing to the near post. Kirkland probably feels he should have done better there. Beyond the midway point of this first half, FC Naples 1-0 to the good. Bockstein and O'Connor linking up for what wound up being Naples' opener. The flick on from O'Connor. It's just a question of whether or not Bockstein got the final touch or he just interfered enough to see it travel over the line. And now Naples pushing for more. Anderson is able to read that though. O'Connor. Either way, he played a definitive role in that opening goal. As of now, it is being credited to Kevin O'Connor. It will still be an active question as this wears on as to whether or not Dominic Bockstein did get a touch. But right now, he's being credited with his first league goal of the year. Penholzer. Sprayed wide towards Murana. Amer. 30 minutes gone. FC Naples, the 1-0 advantage. As of now, O'Connor's being credited. And now Richmond pushing as they look to respond before halftime. They've had moments of enjoyment in possession. Josh Kirkland, of course, the best chance of the lot. An effort that was admittedly from a tight angle and denied rather routinely by Lalo Delgado. See how they can monopolize a share of the ball as this wears on. Kirkland is now chasing after this, and it ricochets to him. This is Josh Kirkland, who can't pick out O'Malley. Naples let off the hook. It looked like Kirkland and O'Malley would have had the defense at its mercy. You're seeing the frustration from Darren Sawatsky because there are positive signs, but they have yet to find that final touch. There's now a player down. It appears to be Tyler Freeman for Richmond. It's not a squad that is particularly deep in terms of attacking midfield availability. Keep in mind that Soyfert and Espinal, two players that, while normally healthy, likely would start for Richmond, both dealing with preseason knocks, and they still have not featured. And now a third option to play that number 10 role, and Tyler Freeman is thrown on the pitch, grabbing his leg. It's a concerning sight for the Rouge faithful. Well, Matt Pullins instructing his troops on how to see things out here. They've gotten off on the right foot. He spoke a lot about how last week was a lesson. Went up 2-1, let it slip in the dying embers of that fixture, and he said that it's important to see out matches. You learn lessons like that, and it's good we learned it this early. You have to make sure it doesn't happen again. As you see there, in the midst of all of that, Freeman just went down trying to win the ball back, and he's walking off on his own power, so perhaps that's somewhat of a positive sign. It's just a question of whether or not he can actually continue here. You wonder if maybe that's his night coming to a conclusion. If that is the case, that's heartbreaking for Freeman, someone who's an incredible talent, true MLS acclaim early in his tenure, a product of the Sporting Kansas City Academy that navigated his way into a homegrown contract at just 15 years of age. I'm hoping he can rediscover those heights in the near future if he can't feature the rest of the night. This is a cheap giveaway. O'Malley for Richmond. Barnathan strolling forward and drawing numbers as well. Penholzer looking for an angle to cross. Plays it back to Murana, who does ping it in. No real issues for Delgado there. And there will be a change. Richmond forced to make an alteration. And it comes in the form of Andrew Richmond, the young academy product who's featuring for the first time this season for Richmond Kickers in place of Tyler Freeman. That substitution presented by Publix. An 18-year-old Richmond native in Andrew Richmond signed his first pro contract last winter, for Richmond. He made 8 appearances a year ago. This is now his first of 2026. So Richmond in, Freeman out. And that is the change Darren Sawatsky goes with at this interchange of the fixture. Now Vinberg is down for Richmond. Murana. Penholzer. Shoved down just outside the area, and this a free kick and an inviting spot for the Roos. As we head into the final 10 minutes of this first half, this a real golden opportunity to pull themselves back on a level playing field. You see here, Penholzer weaving a web of lies. Macias, a shove in the back, doesn't really go for the ball there, and despite his protests, our referee does not hesitate to blow his whistle. John Surgeon setting the standard from the jump. Joe Surgeon, that is. Amo will stand over it. Hooks it with in swing. It is right at Delgado there, and no one there in red to get a touch. You just wonder the alterations Darren Sawatsky may make tactically to try and pull Richmond back into this. This is a squad that, again, hasn't been forced to chase matches much. They did play in a pretty expansive style for the first half against Northern Virginia, but then they were able to sit back and defend a lead. Now they're in a position where for the first time this season, they have to chase from behind and come out of their shell. Just wonder what that style looks like for Darren Sawatsky, someone who's emphasized pragmatism these last few years as Richmond tries to drag out results from the jump. Murana plays this forward, finds Penholzer, who stays onside. Now hooks in a cross, cleared by Garcia. As far as Vinberg, but it is run down by Bockstein. And that's clever from Delgado. Macias. Cisneros. Gray. Yoder sprang this long. Can't pick out O'Connor, who as of now is the goal scorer of the only goal in this match. O'Connor. He goes down immediately, clutching his head. That is definitely a point of concern for FC Naples. Goal scorer on the night. After a 2-assist masterclass Wednesday, both he and a Richmond Kickers player remain prone on the deck. It's a nasty one. Tough coming together between O'Connor and Hayden Anderson, and neither comes off spry, to say the least. Anderson's been a key of a retooled back line, starting at left back the entirety of this new season. Kevin O'Connor, of course, a fixture in midfield for FC Naples over the past 2 years. Someone who joined the club through an open tryout despite all of the experience he had playing in the highest levels of Irish football back in the day. Matt Pullen mentioning that shows no ego, willing to show up to an open tryout despite likely being above the level on paper. Fans here with a bit on their minds, and this stoppage gives us a chance to let you know that soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. 40 minutes gone and plenty for the River City Red Army to ponder in the opening stages of this one. A 1-0 advantage for FC Naples, courtesy of Kevin O'Connor as things stand. And it appears both he and Hayden Anderson are ready to return to the action. So not a welcome sight for both parties. As of now, both squads temporarily down to 10. And now resuming full strength. Murata had Panholzer early. Probably should have slipped him in a few moments before he actually did. He's someone with bags of talent, Tarek Panholzer. Native of Germany, who, again, made a name for himself during his time in college soccer. Began his career at East Tennessee State, and also con first-team selection for back-to-back seasons before ultimately finishing his college career at Marshall, where he featured in the national championship game, ultimately a defeat to Vermont in 2024. But he was a major part of that Thundering Herd squad that made its second-ever title game. Now with his first professional contract, hoping to influence things for Richmond. And that not his finest moment to date. Here's Torres. Torres maneuvering through midfield maraudingly. Amer. Richmond is clipped at the legs, and a red card is shown. Well, it was a high challenge from both parties. And the way the Richmond Kickers players are reacting, it seems that their substitute, Andrew Richmond, has been sent off. Macias is still down. And it appears that the Richmond Kickers will have to play this one down to 10 men. You see here initially Macias dives in. And then Richmond catches him on the follow-through, and immediately the red card shown in the direction of Andrew Richmond. Macias dives in. There's not a lot of malice in that. And well, this is a rather intriguing decision from Joe Surgeon. There is certainly contact on the follow-through. But the question is, can Andrew Richmond realistically stop his momentum before running into Macias, especially when Macias is dove in studs up, misidentifying the direction of the ball? Well, this is one Richmond Kicker fans will be apoplectic about. Richmond down to 10 men. Their substitute, Andrew Richmond's been sent off on a disastrous 2026 debut for the 18-year-old. And on first viewing, it's hard to say he could have done much different, but there was contact to the head between his leg and Macias, and that's likely what prompted the decision. Either way, FC Naples up a man for the remainder of this one. Barnathan looking long for Kirkland, and if there was any question about how much Richmond would be able to dominate this match, I think that it's been answered for you. They may have to rely on fleeting moments to get back in this football game. Because now they're down to 10 in a decision that left Richmond Kicker players absolutely irate. Now the yellow shown to Josh Kirkland on a frustration challenge, and the River City Red Army is quite displeased with Joe Surgeon at the moment. Well, this is likely a yellow. There's no real doubt about it. Just shoves him from behind, a breakup, promising build-up. Overzealous from Kirkland, and he pays the price. Now he has to be careful because already down to 10. This could unravel rather fast. Six minutes of added time separate us from intermission. As things stand, 1-0 to Naples, courtesy of Kevin O'Connor's opener. And moments ago, Andrew Richmond, who was subbed on for the injured Tyler Freeman, sent off after running into the back of Aiden Macias' head. A red card shown immediately, no hesitation. And now Naples looking to push on. Barnathan. Looking long for Muji Murana. Cisneros is there first. We'll have time to recap that decision at halftime. It is certainly one that has defined this first half.
All right, Kickers fans, get on your feet because it's time to stand up for Richmond.
Here's O'Connor, arcing across in towards Gray, who heads it back across the face of goal. Doesn't reach Boxteen. Now the question is, can Richmond just see this out as the scoreline is presently constituted? A major inflection point here, because if Richmond can get into halftime, regroup, Darren Sawatsky can throw some tactical alterations into the fold, maybe they can drag this out with 10 men and potentially steal an equalizer. But these are the moments where they're vulnerable. Immediately after having a player sent off, this close to intermission with this much stoppage time. This is the golden chance for FC Naples to find a second and potentially put the match on ice before halftime. This is Ping Long, Glasser, Chris Garcia, Torres. It's broken up well. O'Malley, and now Anderson. Torres defends him well. Now Macias, who was at the center of that controversy moments ago. Amer. Murana. Streaking forward down the right side. Clips it into the box, and just over the head of Dakota Barnathan, who is making a delayed run into the area. Richmond showing a capacity to create with 10, though. Well, Matt Poland even mentioned to me on the phone this week, sometimes it's actually harder to play against 10 men than 11, because teams set up, they pin themselves deep, and there's also that added pressure of you're a man up, you probably should score. We'll see how they handle that here. They'll definitely be on the front foot if these few minutes following the red card are any indication. O'Connor. Garcia. Spins past Anderson. Now dispossessed by Anderson. Midway through the 6 minutes of added time, Naples winning a free kick. And it becomes a question of whether or not the visitors can grab that second against 10-man Richmond. Panholzer. Fouled by Cisneros. Well, oddly enough, the Richmond Kickers did not have a single player sent off a season ago. They were the only team in USL League One to not have a player sent off in league play. In league match number 2, they've seen their substitute be dealt a straight red. Well, it's odd how the tables can turn so fast in this league. Flicked on, Panholzer. Away by Yoder. Now Boxteen. Flicks it along to Gray, who has some room to operate. And numbers with him as well. Garcia to his right. Brought down by Barnathan. And the referee holds up the advantage. A yellow card also shown. Looks like Dakota Barnathan, the latest Richmond kicker in the book, and you're hearing the audible groans of frustration from the River City Red Army whenever a card is shown now. This could get tense. I mean, this is a foul through the back. There's not a lot of dispute about it. Joe Surgeon has gotten that decision spot on. The captain in the book for Richmond, though. Garcia and O'Connor standing over this. This likely the final kick of the ball in this first half. Maybe too far out to think about a shot. It would likely favor the left boot of Kevin O'Connor in this instance. Garcia takes and drives it goalward. Quality save from Filione. And the halftime whistle sounds. It's an opening half shrouded in controversy, and you hear audible boos from the home faithful as a result. 1-0 to FC Naples, courtesy of the opener from Kevin O'Connor on 24 minutes. But that was not all she wrote in the first half. A controversial sending off of Andrew Richmond, the substitute, sending the kickers down to 10 men. They face adversity in their home league opener, trailing by a goal and trailing by a man on the football pitch. We'll step aside briefly here on ESPN Plus when we return a look back at an eventful first half from City Stadium. Stick with us. We'll be right back from Richmond.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with a provider today.
Las abogadas nos sentimos orgullosas de ser parte de la comunidad latina de Richmond. Somos un equipo legal que comparte la alegría y el amor por la familia. Y cuando las familias de nuestra comunidad enfrentan problemas migratorios, las escuchamos para ofrecerles justicia. Somos abogadas especializadas que defendemos la dignidad humana. Entendemos y empatizamos con los problemas de las familias inmigrantes. Somos madres protectoras que defendemos con pasión los derechos de las infancias. Nuestras hijas e hijos tienen derecho a jugar y divertirse sin miedo. Si usted sueña con tener una vida familiar en Richmond, libre de preocupaciones migratorias, podemos ayudarle. En nuestras oficinas encontrará calidez humana. Somos abogadas, mujeres y madres comprometidas con defender a nuestra comunidad latina. Contáctenos hoy mismo para agendar una evaluación de su caso.
Las abogadas RBA, sus abogadas de migración.
Las abogadas, sus abogadas de inmigración.
We welcome you back to Richmond, where at halftime, FC Naples leads in the Kickers Home League opener. The lone goal scored by Kevin O'Connor on 24 minutes. Richmond with work to do, down a goal and down a man after 45 minutes of play. Well, at halftime, it gives us a chance to check in around USL League One, starting with our Week 2 Team of the Week, and some Naples representation in the form of Chris Garcia, who had 2 assists a week ago against Corpus Christi. No one from Richmond here, as Richmond did not play a week ago, although Josh Kirkland would have his name as a candidate if you considered week 1. Meanwhile, as you look further throughout the squad, Javin Romero in the 11, as well as Noah Powder, who played a big role for Westchester. Hunter Moore selected as well after their win at New York Cosmos. As we continue our look around the league, let's take a look at our goal of the week, save of the week, and USL All Access. Now Lazzini flash that across. Spangler, a chance from outside the area, and it's a moment of history for New York Cosmos. They are level with just under 18 to play.
It's the return to the Cosmos at historic Hinchliffe Stadium. Quick playoff throwing, the 1-2 pass, and Darren Seidel alone for the finish at the top of the box. The goalkeeper is fuming, but Seidel doesn't care. A tucked finish into the bottom left corner. That is your select USL League One goal of the week.
Paradise playing on a yellow. It is taken away. An open opportunity. A kick save. Tonight, Bolaños. What a save by Glenn Shipman.
This week on USL All Access, we'll cover the massive news of Louisville City head coach Danny Cruz stepping down to pursue other opportunities in professional soccer. Greenville Triumph head coach Dave Dixon joins us to talk their ascent back to the mountaintop. Can they find Open Club glory? What is this year's Open Cup made of? And who in the championship has impressed so far? Who do we need more out of?
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
USL League One kicks off. Players Shield winners. He does it again. Their first ever goal in club history.
See your shot land on a perfectly manicured fairway. Hear the pop of a paddle meeting the ball. Feel the excitement of cheering on your team for the big win. And when the final whistle blows or the last putt drops, the day is far from over. Because here, world-class play meets white sand beaches and award-winning dining. One visit and you'll see why this is paradise in every sense. Experience it yourself in Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades, Florida's Paradise Coast.
We welcome you back here from Richmond, Virginia, where at halftime FC Naples leads Richmond Kickers 1-0. Richmond down a goal and down a man in their USL League One home opener. Well, it's time to take a look around USL League One. We will continue that with our halftime update here from Richmond.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at some of the headlines for this week. Forward Madison did something in Week 2 that had not happened since 2024. Hand won Knoxville a loss at home. The defending league champs had gone 21 straight home matches without a defeat. 3 first-year clubs registered their first points in Week 2. Corpus Christi's League One debut ended with a Boo Medina goal in added time to tie FC Naples 2-2. And first-year club Sarasota Paradise and Fort Wayne FC shared the points in a 2-2 draw in Florida. 4 of League One's 5 expansion clubs now have points through 2 matches. Well, if you walked in late to matches at Westchester SC and Naples in Week 2, you missed historic goals for both clubs. Westchester's Dean Guzan scored just 42 seconds into its match against Charlotte Independence, the quickest goal in franchise history. And Mark Torias did the same for Naples, scoring 88 seconds into its match with Corpus Christi. USL Championship Spanish broadcast coming soon to 2DN. Wednesday the 25th, Lexington SC hosts Brooklyn. Then Saturday the 28th, Detroit City hosts Charleston Battery. That's a look at the headlines for this week. Let's get you back to your match for the second half.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Hey, I'm Wathan. Welcome to the Confident Barber Show. Come on in.
This is our brand. It's chips. Subs, of course. Soda. This. That. Sweets. Smiling faces. Green. More green. Ice cream. But first, veggies. How about a meal for one? Or hummus is fun. Time for cleanup? Done. All this goodness. Your life, your brand. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
We welcome you back to City Stadium. We're at intermission in this clash between Richmond Kickers and FC Naples in USL League One play. It is a 1-0 advantage for the visitors. Kevin O'Connor making all the difference for an FC Naples side that is now up a man as well as a goal. And let's take a look back at how everything unfolded in an eventful opening 45 minutes in this League One home opener for Richmond Kickers. We pick things up on 24 minutes. Kevin O'Connor credited with this opener. It's a throw-in routine that comes back to Cisneros, well-timed flick on, and all it is a question of whether or not Bockstein requires a touch. They're saying that O'Connor Virginia. It is a raucous city stadium, and a 10-man Richmond Kickers are going to have to flash plenty of resilience if they are to get back into this match. We'll see how many changes Darren Sawatsky makes. The only substitution he was forced into resulted in a sending off. Tyler Freeman was going off with injury, and then a red card immediately shown to Andrew Richmond. It's a tough break for the 18-year-old. It is a brutal decision, a brutal break for Richmond, but all in all, it forces Richmond to battle back with 10. We await our referee signal to get things back underway here in the second half. Richmond will need to dig deep and battle back for the first time all season if they are to get a result in front of their home faithful. FC Naples, meanwhile, looking to climb back atop the league. If they get 3 points tonight, they will do just that. Richmond going from right to left on your screen. The visitors from left to right. Well, Tarek Penholzer just awaiting a referee signal. They're leaving us in suspense as they wait for all the fans to file back in. It is a packed crowd, as it tends to be in League One play at City Stadium on a beautiful night for football. Temperatures still in the low 70s, high 60s at the moment. 7 p.m. local time, just beyond that here in Richmond, Virginia. And the Kickers looking to battle back in front of a packed crowd that is highly partisan. Sam Goldfarb bringing you the rest of the way. 1-0 to Naples, courtesy of Kevin O'Connor's opener. The red card on Andrew Richmond moments before halftime. And we find ourselves in a position where Richmond Kickers will need to battle back, down a goal and down a man, to get back into this fixture. Here's Macias hoping to provide a quick start for FC Naples to this second half. He was at the center of that red card decision at the tail end of the opening 45. Cisneros. First cross flicked along by O'Connor. And away from Sean Vinberg, a veteran of USL League One in his third campaign with his third different club. Glasser. O'Connor. Cisneros. He assisted O'Connor's opener. That is the lone difference-making moment of this fixture so far. Kirkland. Physical coming together. Yoder at the center of it. And the new addition out of Longwood University may receive a stern talking to from Joe Surchin. Filion launching long towards Kirkland, who's brought down in the area by Yoder. Penalty shout waved away. Didn't look like there was much in that. And to our referee's credit, he has let a lot go in the penalty boxes both ways. It's been a physical match. Didn't look like that met the threshold of a penalty offense. Cisneros. Gray. And for those just joining us, we welcome you into City Stadium. Start of the second half from Richmond, Virginia. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action on a warm night in the River City. 1-0 to FC Naples, courtesy of Kevin O'Connor. Richmond down a man. Their substitute, Andrew Richmond, sent off in his season debut. So that is this predicament that the home side finds itself in as Macias marauds through midfield. Boxty trying from afar. Quality stop from Filion and out for a corner. Well, there will be far more saves required of him if Richmond is to stay in this match, and Macias does well to carry it forward. Boxstein has a pop. It is decent height for Filion, who sees it the entire way, but still requires the proper execution. And it sets up Naples with their first corner of the half. It is Chris Garcia who stands over it. In-swinger toward the near post. Cleared away. Panholzer looking to break. Poke from behind by Torres. You just have to wonder what the tenor of the team talk was like from Darren Sawalski, because there were plenty moments of promise for Richmond, especially in the early stages of that first half. But it felt like in their moments of possession, they couldn't penetrate enough. And obviously trailing by a goal to nil, down a man, they'll have to pick their spots a bit more diplomatically, so to speak. So you just wonder what the general tenor of the message was like. I'm sure Matt Pullen will say, keep doing what you're doing. They dominated the lion's share of the ball, created the better of the chances for spells. Have looked the livelier of the two sides, especially since the red. Has all the feeling that if they can grab a goal in the opening 15 of this second half, they could run away with it. Garcia. Driving in across. Cleared out for just a throw. Glasser loses control on the near side. This is a kicker's squad that is still looking to rediscover the heights it hit 4 years ago. 2022, the Players' Shield winners reached the semifinals of that season's playoffs before ultimately being eliminated by Chattanooga Red Wolves as part of their Cinderella run to the final. Since then, up and down. 2023, some disappointment. 2024, they got hot at the right time and got into the playoffs as the 8th seed. And then last season, after a fast start, crumbled down the stretch. Just 5 wins in their final 29 games across all competitions. This season, a strong start, a win and a draw across all comps, but they have work to do if they hope to salvage anything from this. Get a result against Naples for the first time. Panholzer sent in. He's through on goal. Tarek Panholzer a chance. And it's a quality save from Delgado, who does just enough to put him off. And now a yellow is shown to O'Malley, who's clattered into the back of what appears to be Boxstein. And it's Macias who's down, excuse me. More loud reactions from the Richmond faithful. This a huge chance. Panholzer slots it onto his right. It's a sensational recovery by Delgado. He just makes himself big and takes enough of the sting out of it. And then that is a crunching challenge from O'Malley. I know he's trying to win the ball back in the air, but it's perhaps a touch overzealous. And Aiden Macias once again prone on the deck. He'll have some bruises tomorrow. He has options on the bench. We've already seen a few come on. Keep in mind, Darwin Espinal is back in the squad. He didn't start due to the early season injury troubles, so they can bring him on for the first time this season. Still no Niels Seufert, though. And that's a point of concern for Richmond fans. Their top chance creator from a season ago is still not in the 18 at the moment. Espinal's a game changer that they can bring on, someone who was not in the 11, but is in the squad. Garcia. Not to mention, Luca Dorado is also someone they can definitely factor in. Scored a phenomenal goal at the midweek, as that is hit directly towards Filion. Kirkland. Amer. Murana. Boxstein. I'm sure Matt Poland is pleased with what he's seen so far. But again, seeing out results, a big topic in the week. He was pleased with how professional his side was Wednesday in their Open Cup victory over Red Force. Said he felt that in matches like that, especially with the rotation that they had, it's easy to take your foot off the gas, maybe not run into all the challenges you should, knowing you have a game at the weekend, but said he felt his guys did everything required of them. Here tonight, it's been more of the same. They've been crunching in for every challenge, winning the ball back high upfield with their press. It is a squad that's looked more proactive than a season ago. Last year, they sat back a bit more as this is played over the top to Kirkland, who is offside anyways. It didn't matter as it rolled wide of the far post. You see him trying to amp up the Richmond faithful. Route 1 action. This is a tight angle. He drags both center backs out of position, and he doesn't miss it by much. And we're not hesitant about throwing the offside flag up right away. They will be loud for the remainder of this one. Torres. Dispossessed. Amer. Murana bombing downfield, and they can't pick him out. There are signs of life, though, from Richmond when they win it back. Beginning to see the vision with Austin Amer in this squad. Not always someone who grabs the game by the scruff of the neck, but someone who can influence the game with his long-range shooting ability and his ability to read play and break it up. Does a lot of the dirty work in midfield, as now Richmond is making a double change. It's the end of the road for Panholzer, as well as O'Malley, and Luca Dorado into the action after scoring a lovely goal in the midweek. Not to mention Ali Sasanka is also in for O'Malley, likely adding another ball-winning presence. Both those changes presented by Publix. Panholzer out for Dorado, O'Malley out for Sasanka.
Entering the match for Richmond, number 6, Ali Sasanka, and number 70, Luca Dorado.
We tick towards the hour mark. And as of now, Kevin O'Connor's 24th minute flick on header is what makes the difference. Richmond down to 10 men. Andrew Richmond sent off the substitute. It is Sasanka and Dorado, the first reinforcements since the first half. And here is Sasanka. Sasanka made his Richmond debut in the midweek in place of Dakota Barnathan, who went off injured against Northern Virginia, excuse me. Luca Dorado scoring the late dagger, a bar down finish. That was one of the goals of the first round of the tournament. O'Connor. Clipped at the legs. Whistle sounds against Vinberg and company. Macias. Boxstein. They'll come back to the earlier challenge now. O'Connor flicks forward. Given away, Glasser. Threading through Boxstein, Filion off his line. Boxstein looking around the goalkeeper. Cleared away. Filion does well here. makes himself big and cuts down on the angle. Dorado. His first touch of the match for Richmond. Murana. Hunting Kirkland down the far side. Yoder gets there first. This could become a tense one down the stretch, and the River City Red Army sensing it. 10-man Richmond kickers looking to battle back from a 1-0 deficit and do it in front of their home faithful. Murana perhaps looking for the long throw. Arcs it in. Nodded away. We may run it right back. Amer. Sasanka left it dangling, and Macias was first to it. Well, fans, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. An hour gone in the River City. 1-0 to FC Naples. Richmond down a man, pushing desperately for an equalizer. This is the type of action we've waited for all offseason. One side chasing it, the other protecting an advantage, but one that has been end-to-end with chances both ways. It sets the stage for what should be a lively and thrilling conclusion. Anderson. Murana. Not a bad first touch from Darren Sawatsky. Draws a loud applause from the crowd as well. Someone who's an experienced coach. Best known for his time in the Sounders youth ranks, helped set up their academy back in the day, and now a veteran of USL League One, the only holdover from their inaugural season that is still coaching in the league. Now FC Naples readying alterations themselves. As they look to shore this up, Andres Farine, as well as Juan Osorio, are the two warming up as things stand. Farine has a complex history against the Richmond Kickers. He did score the opener in the first meeting last year in Naples. He also missed a crucial penalty with the scoreline level here in Richmond in August. That the only penalty he missed all year last season. Amer dives in aggressively here. He may be in a bit of trouble now. It's just a yellow card. Caught him on the follow through. It goes up pretty high here. The studs are up and he catches. It appears to be Torres high on the shin. On a different day, Richmond may be down to 9. I think Amer's a lucky boy. They're still in the match despite all of the adversity thrown their way. See, he's telling his players to use their heads. Be diligent about the tackles they log now. Changes both ways. Darwin Espinal returning for Richmond Kickers, his first appearance of the season. Meanwhile, a double change. Boxstein and Macias are off for Farine and Osorio. Two like-for-like swaps for FC Naples. And of course, the return of Darwin Espinal, something Richmond Kickers fans have been desperate for, clamoring for in the early stages of this year. Last season's top goal scorer is on for Josh Kirkland. All those substitutions presented by Publix. 9 goals across all competitions for Darwin Espinal a year ago. Got off to a flying start. He did score against this FC Naples squad in April of last year as well. While he didn't quite build on the fast start to the degree he would have hoped, he was still a very impactful figure for Richmond Kickers a year ago. They're gunning for this now. Dorado is taking the spot up top, and it appears Espinal will play right through that middle. Someone who's also capable of flexing out wide if need be. Andres Farine is in his second year with FC Naples as well. Scored their first ever goal in club history against Chattanooga Red Wolves in their season opener last year. Barnathan looking long for Luca Dorado. He can't quite get there in time, but he does win a throw. You see it on your screen, Richmond down to 10 men. A red card shown to Andrew Richmond for violent conduct in the 42nd minute. A reckless challenge that resulted in his sending off by our lead official, Joe Surgeon. Since then, Richmond has shown signs of life, though, especially in the second half. You could argue they've actually had the better of the possession and territory, despite Naples having the best chance. Long throw coming from Anderson. Nodded away by O'Connor. Gray giving chase and has room to operate. Looking for Farine, but it's snuffed out immediately by Vinberg. If this drags on with the scoreline intact, you wonder what the mentality is like for FC Naples. Of course, a week ago, had a one-goal lead late. They took the lead on 88 minutes and let it slip in stoppage time. Two long-range efforts from afar throughout that game, allowing Corpus Christi to salvage a draw away from home. It was nearly a problem from Barnathan. With the margins so fine and narrow, as this wears on, figure some nerves and tension may set in, especially away from home. O'Connor hunting insurance for Naples. It's off Barnathan and right back to Filione. Torres lofts it upfield. Farine is chasing after it, and he does get there. It loses out immediately to Leighton. Farine known for that blistering pace. Something that Naples tried to add this offseason in the wake of Carson Henderlong's departure. Matt Pullen saying there is no like-for-like replacement for a number 9 of his physicality and goal-scoring traits. So we've tried to add more one-on-one talent on the wings. Players who can pop out wide from the front line and get in behind, especially out wide, and kind of enter the penalty area from the outside of opponents' defenses. Says that pace has made their counters more lethal and dynamic in transitions. Dorado can't poke it beyond Mastrantonio. Cisneros. Glasser, former Monterey Bay FC man. Garcia. Gray. Looking for the return ball. Garcia gets inside here. Strong challenge from Barnathan. Anderson. Dorado. Gets past Osorio. Farine assisting defensively. That is that hard-nosed work rate Matt Pullen loves. He asks everyone, including his forwards, to press, help out in defensive duties. This is a squad that covers ground, is physical, difficult to play against, especially when they hold the lead. Amer. Sasanka. O'Connor, the lone goal scored this evening. Garcia. FC Naples is readying one final change. Hudson Gay is getting set to replace Julian Cisneros in a matter of moments. O'Connor linking with Garcia. Last-ditch challenge just about does the job. And now the whistle sounds against Naples. Beautiful night in Richmond, Virginia. Perfect for the home league opener after a chilly affair on Tuesday night in their actual home opener in the Open Cup. And unsurprisingly, the place is packed at City Stadium. This is a club that is ingrained in the Richmond community, 34 years strong, one of the longest consecutively tenured clubs in American football, and the only club in the 4th division to win the US Open Cup. They did that as a 4th-tier side in 1995 before ultimately making the move back up to the 2nd tier and then down to League One ahead of the 2019 season. It's a proud fixture of the River City, and the fans ardent in support of their kickers. Amer can't get there. I wonder at what point Richmond starts to play a touch more direct, knocking it around the back, possessing it, but they have yet to truly trouble the new-look center back pairing of Mastro Antonio and Yoder for Naples. Squad playing just its 4th competitive match together. Murana. Fouls Cisneros. And that may be a productive final involvement for Julian Cisneros. That's the end of the night for Cisneros. Hudson Gay to replace him. Scored a goal in the midweek in the Open Cup. Now gets an opportunity in place of the former Loyola Chicago fullback. In addition to that, Ian Cerro getting set to enter for FC Naples as well. Garcia off for Cerro, that's like for like. Cisneros off for Hudson Gay. Both changes presented by Publix. Well, fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Inside the final 20 minutes from the River City. 1-0 to FC Naples. Kevin O'Connor, the difference maker. And now Naples making changes. Cerro is on, as is Hudson Gay. Hudson Gay currently on a 25-day contract that he signed a week ago. Here's Cerro, someone can be quite dynamic in the final third. A player that Matt Pullen has been familiar with for quite some time, dating back to his tenure in Nisa. Murana. Farine assisting defensively again. And a late challenge. This one that goes against Naples. You see it on your screen. Richmond kickers down to 10 men. That red card coming in straight red card fashion in the 42nd minute to Andrew Richmond. After Naples took the lead. It was a 50-50 coming together between himself and Aiden Macias. There was contact around the head area, and that's what prompted the red card. Richmond fans didn't like it, but they found themselves having to play catch-up down to man ever since, and arguably have had the better of the action in this second half regardless. You see mild annoyance etched on his face at the moment. I think he probably would feel they could be a little more proactive in possession. Put this game to bed. There's still time to do that, of course. But the way they played in the first half, so advanced, over 60% of the ball, concentrating large spells of the game in Richmond's third. I'm sure that's why maybe he feels they could get a little more out of things at the moment. Still has been a strong display, though. Here's Dorado, who is fouled. And now a yellow card shown as well. This time to Luca Mastrantonio. First center back for Naples on a yellow card at this stage. He's a veteran, was a regular starter for Union Omaha, the side that won the league 2 years ago. Just clatters into Dorado after the fact. It's definitely caution-worthy. Gives Richmond a chance to send all the troops forward. Pinged long by Filione. Headed all wrong by Sasanka, who's arguing it took a touch, and it's not an argument he'll win. You look ahead for Richmond, and it is an interesting slate of fixtures. It's not favorable the next two games, which highlights the importance of getting something out of this, especially this early in the season. At the defending champions, 1 Knox in 6 nights' time, and then traveling to Spokane on April 11th. That is before they play a thick concentration of matches at home. For FC Naples, they open their season at home. This their first road trip, and play the next 3 at home against Madison, Greenville, and Sarasota in the next 3 weeks. So this is a chance for them to really build up points, much like they did last season when they went unbeaten in the first 9 across all competitions and reached the 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup before falling to Tampa Bay Rowdies on penalties in that. A squad that built its advantage early and then maintained it through the remainder of the year, climbed into the top 4 on the final day after toppling Charlotte Independence due to defeats by Portland and clubs elsewhere as well. This is lofted long. It's a loose header from Anderson that just about reaches Filione. Cerro was lingering. Farine keeps it in play and spoke too soon. He actually lost it. Anxious times for Darren Sawatsky and company on the touchline. They understand that this fixture is somewhat for the taking. They've played well enough to warrant a result, but haven't created enough decisive chances in the final third to actually put Lalo Delgado in a threatening spot, other than the 1-1v1 stop that he made on Ponholzer. Here's O'Connor, switches it towards Farine and overcooked it. Espinal. And still with it. Dorado looking for the return. It's still Luca Dorado, knocked out of play, and it is a Richmond corner. And they'll take this corner right in front of the River City Red Army. Despite the scoreline, it's become a raucous, party-like atmosphere. And they could send the crowd into full bedlam with one ball that nestles into the back of the net. Amer, outswinger, doesn't clear the first line of defense though, and now Cerro can break. And this is where Naples is at its most lethal. Anderson does enough. Sasanka. Dorado again. Lofting it wide and not on the same wavelength as Austin Amer, clearly. They will be loud until the full-time whistle sounds, regardless of the scoreline. And in a fixture like this, when their squad needs them most, they are in prime form. It's opening night, but it feels like mid-season in July here in Richmond. Yoder. Final 10 minutes back in. Maybe a long 10 minutes for Naples. You wouldn't know that Richmond's playing down a man. And you wouldn't know they've done it for the length they have if you just watch the run of play. Mastro Antonio. Bypasses Murana. Hunting Farine. Skips over the legs of Amer. That was a gutsy challenge with him already on a yellow. It's one that did the job, though. What do these closing stages have in store in a league that is known to deliver chaos late on? Osorio. XG isn't always indicative of how a match is unfolded. When you look at the numbers today, chances few and far between, but Richmond a narrow edge on XG, 0.37 to 0.18. The XG quality on Naples' goal was not exactly the highest, but they capitalize on their opportunity through O'Connor's flick-on header, and it makes 3 points of difference at the minute. Farine. Murana. He's fouled. Set piece for Richmond. What can Richmond do? Down to 10 men in the dying embers. I don't think that's what Dorado was intending. After last week, the conversation in Naples was about seeing matches out, staying switched on for the full 90. It was a lapse that prevented them from closing down. Medina on the edge of the area that led to the equalizer on 93 minutes a week ago. Let's see how they respond to what Matt Poyne calls a valuable lesson. O'Connor. Vinberg in retreat. Away from Filione. Rana flicks it along to Dorado, who goes down. The referee says it was won cleanly. Vinberg. Anderson. Wanted the run of Espinal, who couldn't get there. Still trying to get his legs in his first match of 2026. And more changes taking place. It comes on the Naples side of things. It is Jaden Strumeyer who will enter for Max Glasser in a like-for-like substitution at fullback. Fresh legs on the flanks as Naples looks to see this out. Strumeyer, the 25-year-old out of Morganville, New Jersey, signed his first professional contract in early March after spending the last 2 seasons without a professional club. This is his first professional contract since finishing his college career at UNCW a few years back. And here he is with his first touch. Farine. Gray navigates away from Amer. Doesn't quite have numbers though. Farine awaiting reinforcements. Now the whistle sounds again. And they're going to force Richmond player to go off for a head injury concern. So Richmond temporarily will be down to 9 men. The decision from Joe Surgeon, our lead official. Sam Layton will have to get checked on by the physios. Darren Sawatsky seems less than thrilled, but it gives him a chance to talk things over with his squad one final time ahead of the closing stages of this. Apparently, Sam Layton is bleeding from his mouth, so that is the primary reasoning for that decision. Hudson Gay. It is a Richmond side that struggled when falling behind. It gained the 4th least points from winning positions a year ago, just 9. It was a squad that only had 29 points the entire season, finished just 5 points off the bottom. For Naples, it was, to their credit, a squad that protected leads pretty well. Only 12 points lost from winning positions a year ago. In these scenarios, last year they tended to turn them into clean sheets. We'll see if they can do that for the second time in 3 league matches to open this year. Sam Layton is back on the field. Torres. Looking ahead to Farine. Header doesn't quite reach O'Connor. It's read by Vinberg. Sasanka. Luigi Murana, former Birmingham Legion man. Plays it vertically, beyond the reach of Luca Dorado. There's a sense of frustration here for Richmond. Moments of promise, but few clear-cut chances. And the anxiety running throughout the supporters as they continue to urge their beloved kickers on. Richmond kickers bench has been cautioned. Some of that anguish bubbling over on the touchline. He's rebuilt the squad into one that he feels will compete across the board. It has done that tonight, but they still trail. With the exception of one clear-cut chance this second half, they have yet to really trouble Delgado, as Farine is brought down and another yellow card is shown. I don't think Naples will be in any rush to take this. Another crunching tackle. And it's Sam Layton who's booked. Dorado. Given away. This is Cerro for Naples. O'Connor sprinting the other direction. Inching towards the final minute of the 90. All eyes will be on our fourth official in a matter of moments. Dorado clattering into the defender, and the whistle sounds against Yoder. So a free kick for Richmond, and everyone can now stream forward. They have had famous late goals in the past. The late winner in the 100th minute of the Henny Derby 2 years ago is what comes to mind primarily. Can they conjure one more moment of magic at the death in City Stadium? It's Austin Amer over it in the final minute of the initial 90. If it's going to come, it has to come now. Amer clips it in. Negotiated behind for a corner. You wonder if maybe Jan Filion will join the convoy of kickers in the penalty area. Amer again to take, and we'll see if they let him take it from there. They won't. We've hit 90 minutes flat. In swinging corner, headed along, just wide. We will run it right back, and it is 5 minutes of added time that separate us from full time. Renewed life for the kickers here. Austin Amer getting target practice on set pieces now. Another in-swinger, heart of the area, just headed wide. Leighton got a touch, but couldn't redirect it on target. And you wonder if that's the final chance they'll have tonight to salvage something from this. There is still time, but I don't think Naples will be in any rush to take this goal kick. It's a quality delivery. Leighton gets ahead to it, but just can't steer it on frame. Barnathan, Amer, Sasanka, Murana. Farine has been excellent at tracking back defensively, and he does so again. Midway through the added 5. Still hanging on a knife edge, but as of now, Richmond staring at a heartbreaking home opening defeat in the face. Kevin O'Connor, the lone difference maker as things stand in the 24th minute. And we'll have a chance to conjure up one more set piece, and Jan Filion will be the man to play it into the quarter of uncertainty. Everyone on their feet here at City Stadium. Bashed long by Filion, and it's right at Lalo Delgado. Cerro. Vinberg winning it right back. Espinal plays it upfield. Falls for Darwin Espinal. It is still Darwin Espinal! Quality save from Delgado. and it may be one that preserves 3 points. We were waiting for Darwin Espinal to announce himself, and he nearly did. Just picks it up, wraps his boot around it. It's definitely on target, and it requires a strong palm from Delgado at full extension. Another corner for Amer and company. Outswinger, headed on. Falls for Sasanka. Sasanka arcing it into the back post. Back across, Filion is up, and it's another corner. There were appeals for handball, they're not given. And in the final minute of the added 5, everyone up for Richmond, including the goalkeeper, Jan Filion. It has to be now for Richmond. And Filion is now down in the box. One final corner for Austin Amer. What does he have in his locker? Mere seconds from full time. Amer without swing. Still loose and cleared away. And was that the final chance? Yes, it was. FC Naples has escorted 3 points over the line. Matt Pullen's men make it 3 wins from 3 all-time against the Richmond Kickers, and they climb back atop the USL League One table with 3 points. The lone goal tonight scored by Kevin O'Connor on 24 minutes. A red card to Andrew Richmond, leaving the Kickers down to 10 for the lion's share of the match. And Matt Pullen's men, despite being on the back foot, despite a resilient display from the Kickers, are able to see things out after letting points slip a week ago. What a 90 minutes it was here from City Stadium. Our man of the match presented by Los Abogados RVA, Jan Filion, who made a quality stop, played the lion's share of this match, down a man, and his side was under pressure for large spells in the first half. Dominic Bockstein trying him from afar. This is strong palm to keep him out. That our play of the match presented by Courtyard Marriott, and it was one that at the time kept Richmond within a goal. Ultimately, though, his efforts not enough as the Kickers fall in frustrating fashion. FC Naples comes to City Stadium and claims 3 points to climb back atop USL League One. At full time, it finishes Richmond 0, FC Naples 1. We'll take a quick breather, and when we return, a look back at the eventful 90 minutes that just transpired from the River City. Stick with us. We will be right back.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with a provider today.
We choose Impossible Pups because of their enrichment activities and the fun photos they send home every day.
We choose Impossible Pups because Kendall is excited when I drop her off and she's excited when I pick her up.
My favorite part about working at Impossible Pups is that the staff here feels like family.
It's seeing new dogs come in and build long-lasting confidence.
At Impossible Pups, your dog isn't just staying at a kennel, they're staying at their home away from home.
We welcome you back to Richmond, where after a hard-fought 90 minutes in the Kickers' home opener, they fall in frustrating 1-0 fashion. The lone goal for FC Naples scored by Kevin O'Connor to make a world of difference tonight. Matt Pullen's men climb back atop the USL League One table after a long 90 minutes. and change. It's time to get a look at those 90 minutes back on our full-time highlights, and what an eventful match this was. Here in Richmond in front of a raucous crowd on 24 minutes, Naples silencing the Red Army, scoring in front of the Red Army. A flick-on header from O'Connor sails all the way in. It's a question of whether Bockstein got a touch. The answer is no, and Kevin O'Connor opens his league account for 2026 after supplying 2 assists a week ago in the U.S. Open Cup. Bockstein at least providing the havoc required to get it over the line, but O'Connor credited. And then this, the controversial moment. A diving challenge from Macias. The substitute Andrew Richmond definitely makes contact around the head of Macias, and he's shown a straight red card to the chagrin of everyone in Richmond red. Then in the second half, we went back and forth. Dominic Bockstein a chance to power Naples 2 in front. It was a quality save from Jan Filion. Just gets this and powers his laces through it. Filion with a strong palm to take it wide. And then close to full time, it looked like maybe Darwin Aspinall would salvage a point. The substitute darts onto his right, wraps his boot around it, but a strong save from Delgado at full extension to keep him out and preserve all 3 points in stoppage time. You look at the full-time stats, Richmond with more shots but less on frame. FC Naples with more of the possession. But if you watch this match all the way through, you would know these don't indicate the full story. Naples definitely on the front foot in the first half. Richmond, despite being down a man, dominating large spells of the second half as they chased away back into the fixture. Ultimately, though, it was a futile effort. FC Naples prevailing in narrow fashion here, able to see things over the line for their second clean sheet in 3 league matches. That is where we leave things from Richmond, Virginia, where their home opener ends in disappointing fashion. The Richmond Kickers fall 1-0 in a hard-fought affair. It is 3 wins from 3 for Naples against Richmond all time, and they climb back atop the USL League One table. For our terrific crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from City Stadium, where Naples prevails 1-0. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.